I'm McGavern from the Partnership for the Public Good, or PPG, which unites over 275 community organizations working to build a better Buffalo. Delighted to be joining you every Tuesday at 1 p.m. on Facebook Live, and every Tuesday at 7 p.m. on Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 AM. Today we'll be joined by our own Jalonda Hill. She is the Communications and Outreach Specialist here at PPG. She's also an Open Buffalo emerging leader, and she's the founder of Colored Girls Bike 2, and that's what we'll be talking about on the show today. It's Colored Girls Bike 2 and Jalonda's thoughts on that project which she started. Don't forget to follow PPG on Facebook and Twitter, and of course you can always get great information on our website, ppgbuffalo.org. The Public Good is sponsored in part by Univera Healthcare, real people who really care. You can get videos from the Public Good, including our 3-minute highlight videos, on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Two important announcements before we get started with Jalonda. Election Day is coming up. It's Tuesday, November 6th, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. at all of your polling places. To find out where you can vote, call the Erie County Board of Elections. Their number is 858-8891, 858-8891 if you're not sure about your polling place, or you can go on their website. It's the Erie County Board of Elections website. Will tell you your polling place. Also want to let you know about an event Saturday, November 10th at 1 p.m. Buffalo Democratic Socialist Alliance and Sugar City will be doing an event exploring the definition of socialism, differences between democracy and socialism, and solutions for making our way out of climate catastrophe, endless war, and needless poverty. That discussion will be at Sugar City, 1239 Niagara Street. Child care provided on request. There's a Facebook event page if you want more information about that event, Saturday, November 10th, 1 p.m. at Sugar City. All right, with that, I want to welcome Jalonda Hill to the show. Welcome, Jalonda. Great to have you here.
Hello. Glad to be here.
We are going to talk about your project, Colored Girls Bike 2. Let's start, so for someone who has never heard of it yet, what's the sort of essence of Colored Girls Bike 2?
Yeah, so Colored Girls Bike 2 is a group I started in like December of 2017, and I essentially wanted to create a safe space and a supportive space for Black women, other women of color, and those who identify as Black women to feel comfortable bike commuting in the city of Buffalo as an alternative way to transport themselves around the city.
So tell us a little bit about what inspired you. So what are some of the challenges that people face? What are some of the things that might be preventing people from biking who might want to or be interested in it?
So what inspired me was initially I started to bike first, and then I started the group Colored Girls Bike 2. So I was biking for about 8 months. Mm-hmm. And then I started to notice like a shortage in like Black women who were biking in the city, and I'm like, oh wow. So there will be times when I felt like I shouldn't be bike commuting around the city, and it was those times where I wish like I had a supportive space, or where I seen representation of like Black women biking in the city of Buffalo. So I started biking first, and what got me into biking initially was because I just was like feeling suffocated by like societal norms and like needing to conform to like a certain lifestyle at a certain age in life. And like driving for me was like anxiety provoking, and it wasn't like enjoyable. And so that was one of the reasons. And then, but I still at that time wasn't, I didn't have the courage enough at that point to just like give up driving and start bike commuting. It then took like a tragedy in 2016 where I was like at a really bad place. I was in a really bad place, and I was looking for like some sort of outlet, like a healthy outlet, like not drinking or smoking or something like that. So I was like, well, this is a perfect time. I was looking for something like an alternative way of living. I'm tired of like conforming to societal norms and like, you know, in society telling you have to live your life a certain way, and thus switch like driving and stuff like that. And so I gave my car to my little brother, and then I started bike commuting like full time, like everywhere.
And so since you started the group, what are some of the ways that you found to encourage other people to follow your path and bike more?
So I have a Facebook page, and so like on that Facebook page, I give out tips. I give out things to look out for when you're biking, especially specifically for like women of color who may be on bikes, like what to expect, because Buffalo is a very segregated city, and there are some racist people on the roads who will just try to hit you simply because you're a black woman with an afro or not. Maybe like you have like a 27 piece in, or like, you know, braids in, and will try to hit you just because you're not only on a bike, which can be annoying for drivers, but because you're a person of color. So yeah, I provide tips on that, what to look out for. Let me see. I also have workshops where in those workshops I kind of show women how to fix flat tires, and just like I had a bike commuting 101 workshop where I basically talked about like, you know, you should use lights, and in the winter time you should kind of like layer up, and like just different tips on like how to bike in different weather patterns and stuff like that. So that is encouraging for women too who may have never rode a bike before.
And you've done some rides in the past, and you've got one coming up. Tell us about the event you have coming up in the near future, November 3rd.
Yeah, so I have a bike ride November 3rd. So that bike ride, I've collaborated with a woman. Her name is Jalonda Hill, and she is the founder of a business called Afro Chick Yoga, or organization. And essentially she centers her yoga around black women, but also just like anyone who's interested in doing yoga, who wants to learn about doing yoga for the first time. And so with that bike ride, we will be bike riding for a short period of time because it is colder now. So we'll be starting at Grindhouse Cafe, and then we'll be riding to the Expo Market to do the actual yoga and meditation. So in that building there's a conference room, so we'll be doing the yoga and meditation in there. And then we'll be riding back to Grindhouse Cafe for hot cocoa and stuff.
Nice. So that's this Saturday starting at noon, meeting at Grindhouse Cafe, 160 Allen Street. For folks who are interested, what's the best way? Do they need to sign up in advance, or how should they get ready to come to this event?
Yeah, so there's a Facebook event page. So if you kind of look up Color Girls Bike 2 presents Bike Ride to Yoga and Meditation, you'll find that event page, and you can kind of just say you're interested in it. And then from there you kind of just meet up at the meetup location, which is 160 Allen Street. And we'll be meeting up on November 3rd at 12 p.m.
And then heading over to Expo Market for some yoga and meditation.
Yes.
Sounds like a wonderful afternoon.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
Yeah, and I know you've done some rides in the past as well. And what do you find about sort of the experience of riding in a group as opposed to just sort of being out on your own on your bike?
So when I'm alone, I'm usually listening to music, and maybe I'm just like thinking about personal things and, you know, things of that nature. But when I'm riding in a group of women, first of all, it's really, really empowering. And it is also powerful from like the community standpoint to see a group of women of color riding together, like in their community. So we're just, you know, having just conversations from different things in our daily lives that may be impacting us, maybe talking about the ride itself and how it's making us feel. And so we usually have destination points, so maybe even talking about like the destination point and, you know, just like how it looks. Just conversation.
So you're kind of you're sort of an ambassador for biking in this city. So when you're talking to someone about biking and maybe trying to get them to consider ditching the car, or at least not riding the car so often, what do you tell folks? What are some of the benefits that you've experienced and seen other people experience from using a bike instead of driving?
So the first thing is cost. So one of like the part of the goal or the mission of Color Girls Bike 2 is to provide access to bikes and bike attire and bike equipment inexpensively. So I'm focusing on like that population of people who may come from like a poverty-stricken like community or background, who may consider themselves like poor. who don't have access to like resources comparatively speaking to like other folks. So because that's like my like target population of folks, I would definitely stress the fact that you can save money. It's like cost effective, so you don't have to worry about gas. You don't have to worry about like insurance and all those other things, mechanical things. There are mechanical costs with bikes, but like with the partnerships that I have, like Go Bike Buffalo, for example, shout out to Go Bike Buffalo. They have like workshops where you can get a membership for like a year and get your bike fixed for like maybe like $30 a year for free. So.
And you can also learn how to fix it yourself, right? And that's something that you've
and with the workshops
and helped other people to figure out.
Yeah, so even with the workshops, right? Like I show people how to fix their bikes themselves because that's free.
Yeah.
And you have a skill that you can pass on to other people. So yeah.
So saving money is one big selling point. What are some of the other benefits that you've experienced from your biking lifestyle?
You got 2 seconds.
A peace of mind for sure. My mental health is definitely in a much better place when I'm riding a bike. Let me see what else. I'm definitely a lot more fit. So I notice when I'm running, I've always ran, but like when I run now, I notice that my endurance levels are up. So it definitely keeps you in shape, keeps you more conscious and aware of like what you're putting into your body because you are, using your physical body rather than just driving a vehicle to get to and from places. So maybe you'll be more conscious of that.
So you're saving money, good for physical health,
and it's
good for mental health, good for the environment.
Yeah.
So let's go back to sort of your original inspiration and insight. You're out riding your bike and you're noticing that there aren't many other women of color on bikes. What are some of the barriers that you think are keeping people off of bikes?
Yeah, so I think one of the things that I'm aware of from just talking to women that I have conversations with, particularly on the east side, but it could also exist on the west side, is the stigma of like biking being associated to not being like I guess appealing, like physically appealing. Maybe for some people it makes you out to be like you don't have money, that you are some sort of like bummy individual. And so that's like my goal. Like I intentionally try to dress nice, like fashionable on my bike. My hair is done. I do that naturally, regardless. But I think it says something when I'm able to like sustain that on my bike. So having my hair done, not looking super presentable to go to work. So kind of changing that narrative. And when women see me, they do ask about like, how is it biking? I see you biking a lot and ask me questions and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to reach more women.
Yeah. I feel like from talking to you, you have some really practical tips for people, especially for women, about biking and biking to work and some of the sort of details that come up as you're trying to do that every day. So I wonder if you've got like some tips you want to share with people.
Yeah, so one of the tips that I do to preserve the hair, especially for like black women and women who have like, the 4C hair types, 4B hair types, for those who are into natural hair care, you should know what I'm talking about. Multimodaling. So multimodaling essentially is like you're not riding your bike the entire way to your destination. And so what this does is it cuts down on like the amount of effort you have to put in to get to where you're going. And if you're not time efficient per se, it'll cut down on time so you're not rushing and you're not sweating and you're not frizzing your hair out. And then also too, just the pollution in society in general, like that getting on like your clothes and stuff and you're going into work, that may not be the best feeling that you want to kind of go into work with. So I would say multimodaling.
Multimodaling, so that means riding your bike part of the way and then using the bus or the train the rest of the way?
Yeah.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about practically speaking. So do all the NFTA buses have bike racks now?
For the most part, what I see, the buses do have bike racks. They have about only two.
So if you want a multimodal, so just go to the bus, ride your bike to the bus stop, and then the bus pulls up, and then what do you have to do?
You definitely do have to have some sort of like engagement with the driver. So make eye contact with the driver. Try to be nice. Smile, because bus drivers can be, intentionally mean, and if you're not nice, they may not like, because they're supposed to lower the bus for you, so that way it's like less stress on your back. So maybe you're not making eye contact and the bus driver doesn't put the bus on first. You definitely want to have like a nice engagement with the bus driver. So they'll lower the bus for you, and you kind of have to pull out this lever type of device, and then you kind of rack your bike on the bike rack.
How does that take? Just like a minute or so to get
It
that
literally takes me like, I feel like less than like 2-3 seconds.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So real easy. So don't be intimidated out there if you've never tried it before.
Yeah.
It's easy to do, to put that bike on the bus.
Pretty easy.
And it's a rack that's right in front of the bus, right?
Yes, right in front of the bus. You just have to pull it down.
Yeah. Good to know that the driver's supposed to lower the whole bus for you and make it easier.
Yeah, they're supposed to. So if they're not doing that, they just don't want to do the, take the extra effort of like, pressing a button.
Yeah. So something that if they don't do it for you, you can ask them.
Yeah.
Hey, next time, can you lower the bus for me?
Yeah.
And then how about riding on the train? Are bikes always allowed on the light rail?
Yeah. So taking your bike on the train, you should definitely be aware of the policy. So bikes are allowed on the light rail. You are not supposed to take your bike down the stairs. You are literally supposed to take your bike and take it onto the elevator or the escalator, and go down to the train. So that means, yet again, you have to really be aware of like time. So if a train is coming, you could potentially miss your train if you're on the elevator, but being conscious of time, should be good. So being aware of the policy kind of means that not all conductors are enforcing the policy consistently. So you're supposed to have some sort of like attachment to your bike when you're on the train, just to ensure that you're not putting people in danger.
So you're supposed to physically hold on to it yourself.
Yeah. Or you can sit down, but at least just try to show the conductor that you have like it secure.
You got a hand on it. Yeah. So don't just like put the bike down on the floor and then walk away or something like that.
Yeah, no, that would be bad.
No. Okay.
Yeah.
But if you observe those rules, ride the elevator and hold on to your bike, you can always take your bike on the light rail.
Yeah, and it's pretty fun too, actually. And people actually I feel like you are inspiring other folks on the train too, because they're like, oh wow, she can do it. Maybe I can do it too. So it's like a really empowering thing. So I encourage anybody who wants to start multimodaling to try it out.
Yeah.
Give it a try.
How's Buffalo doing at making the streets accessible to bikes? So I know there have been quite a few bike lanes added. Do we have enough, or do we need more bike lanes, or what's your experience sort of riding the streets as a cyclist?
Yeah, so we need more bike lanes for sure, especially on the east side. I live on East Utica Street, and there definitely needs to be more infrastructure on the east side, especially because, and I don't want to generalize, but just like the bike education of people knowing that, for example, it's legal to ride your bike in the street. A lot of people don't know that. And so when there's
think you should be on the sidewalk.
So when there's no infrastructure over there, then it makes it twice as dangerous for people riding their bikes on the east side. So definitely needs to be more infrastructure on the east side.
So bike lanes, are there other things that the city could do that would help make it easier to bike besides adding more bike lanes? Are there signs or stripings or other policies that would make it easier?
Definitely all of that. So like signs, maybe kind of informing folks that, hey, bikes, I don't know how that would even look in like a draft legislation, but like bikes are legally supposed to, ride in the street, because the lack of like knowledge that that's the case.
There's some public education that the city can do. Let people know, share the road with bikes. They're supposed to be there. They're not supposed to be on the sidewalk.
Sort of campaign. That would be cool.
Yeah, I know a couple of years ago the mayor was part of a campaign, and he was on billboards that were promoting biking. So I know they've done some stuff like that in the past, and could do it in the future. Yeah,
definitely needs to be improved upon, though, for sure. Because I'm still getting, like, people and this doesn't always happen. I don't want to deter you from biking, but sometimes people will say, you're not supposed to be in the road. You're supposed to be on the sidewalk. So there definitely needs to be some more awareness around that. Ready Bike kind of being more present on the east side also can kind of help normalize biking, because
tell us about Ready Bike. What is that for folks who don't know?
So Ready Bike is like a bike sharing service that's like, it's like independent of the city, but I think they do get city support on like some things or whatever. And so essentially you get a membership, and with the membership they charge you about like a penny a minute. But I do have a promo code where like you can get a $5 credit and it waives the joining fee. And then after the $5 credit, it'll be a penny a minute.
Oh, okay. So that's if you don't own a bike yet, or if you're far away from your bike, or you've got visitors from out of town or something, that's an easy way to rent a bike right on the street.
Yeah.
Use it for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like if you don't have access to a bike, like Ready Bikes would be great. It's just like that.
Yeah. And those Ready
financial
Bikes,
barrier.
you don't have to bring it back to the same place that you took it out from, right? You can leave it at different locations throughout the city.
Yeah, so that's the problem with the east side is that like they don't have a lot of bike racks, and so you have to bring it back to a bike rack. If you don't, they charge you a $2 fee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it has to go back to a bike rack, but not necessarily the same one that you took it out from. But you're saying there are not enough bike racks, especially on the east side.
To even do that on the east side, you probably would have to go all the way to the west side to kind of bring that bike back.
Yeah.
So more advocacy, for sure, like more work needs to be done on the Ready side of things, like maybe me working with Ready to try to see how we can make that, Ready Bikes more accessible on the east side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what's next for Colored Girls Bike 2? Are you going to be biking all through the winter? Do you have any tips for people about winter biking?
Yeah, so I will be biking in the winter. For me, like I said, it's good for my mental health. It makes me happy. So in the winter, I would say definitely layer up. Have your lights. So a red light for the back and a white light for the front. For your hair, I would definitely say, if you're a natural girl, maybe like a nice twist out, wrap your hair up with like some sort of scarf. Put on like a hat, and if you are, you like to wear helmets because you believe in like helmets making you safer, then put your helmet like over your hat, because unfortunately right now there's like no helmet that's like Afro friendly. So unfortunately you do have to kind of tie your hair down and then kind of straighten your hair out when you get to your destination. And so that goes back to like the whole time efficiency aspect.
Planning
but you can do it, and it's really fun.
All right. Well, we are running out of time. I wanted to let you tell people once more about the event this Saturday.
Yeah, November 3rd. So we will be meeting at Grindhouse Cafe, 160 Allen Street. There will be free hot cocoa and gloves provided. And it starts at 12 p.m. And we'll be leaving Grindhouse at 12:30 to go to the Expo Market to do meditation and yoga.
All right. Fantastic. Well, this has been The Public Good with Jalonda Hill. She's the founder of Colored Girls Bike 2. Check them out on Facebook. Lots of great information, tips, and events coming up. And T-shirts for sale. Very cool T-shirts as well.
Continue giving free services.
All right. Wonderful. So thanks so much, Jalonda. Thanks for being on the show. Next week on The Public Good, we'll be talking with Open Buffalo Democracy fellow Bernadette Giles. She'll be talking about her work in creating a women's professional style development center with a focus on self-confidence and building networks in the community. It's The Public Good every Tuesday at 7 p.m. here on WUFO Power 96.5 FM and Mix 1080 AM, and every Tuesday on Facebook Live at 1 p.m. Thank you.
Thank you.